we've got lots of spiritual questions. I'm going to come to three because I think
Okay.
it's interesting. But there's three questions. What is the soul? What is the spirit? And what is consciousness? And
Right.
I think
Okay.
it'd be good to combine the three of them.
Okay. Well, unintentionally, you've answered the question. Well done, you.
Okay.
Yeah, you cannot look on them as separate. They are one, but they are separate within one. So let's just read them through. You've gone for the spirit was
Yeah.
one.
What is the
Soul.
soul? What is the
Soul.
spirit? And what is consciousness?
Okay. All right. So let's go through this. Let's do with the soul. The soul is you, your trademark, I say programming, please don't get me wrong. I don't mean mind control or computer programming. It's what makes you tick. So the soul is you. That is what works with your organic brain and your physical body and makes you you. So you can't just be a soul. You can't just be a body. That is you. The spirit is the different frequency. How can I do this? I've always described the soul as an almond shape or that sort of shape. Well, that's the soul, but the spirit is the energy that is produced, and it's the brightest light that sits around the edge of this, not elliptical, but it's sort of that shape. And that is the intent. It's the consciousness part of the soul. So the soul is the nuts and bolts part, but the spirit is you've heard that people talk about the moving spirit. The spirit moved me, right? It's this higher frequency of your soul. It's a spirit that is connected through consciousness to all others, whereas the soul is connected through the spirit, but it's the spirit that connects. I could do a whole day on this because it's so fascinating. What was the third part of the question? They said,
what is consciousness?
Right, okay. So when we created Connecting Consciousness, then we decided that we understood to a level what consciousness was and why it was important. If I was talking to 5-year-olds, and I'm not talking to 5-year-olds, please don't, so many people get upset. If I was talking to 5-year-olds, I would talk about a house and people in the house, all sitting in the house. Let's say they're very intellectual and they're all playing chess. They're not watching television, they're not watching the BBC, they're playing chess or what have you. But up towards the roof is an ether. And all their thoughts, all their desires, all the values all go up, and like what you'd call the cloud in the modern day, young people would call the cloud. And it's all in real time. But it all connects to the DNA, it connects to the spirit, and to a lesser extent, the soul. And God's energy is through that. And so in real time, everyone is experiencing, but because we've all been mind controlled when we went to school or kindergarten, and we were brainwashed into believing that we don't have those gifts, we don't have those abilities. And those very few and far between of us who had it, usually had the CIA knocking on their door saying, can we take your kid off to special school, please, and get you levitating objects. So consciousness is everyone's reality if you can access it. If you think of the Akashic records, the two sorts of Akashic records, I'm not talking about the DNA Akashic records, I'm talking about the wider Akashic records, that it's there, but very few people can access that Akashic records. But that's a consciousness. It's a consciousness of the past, the present, and what's projected to be in the future. So if you can access that, then you are accessing your consciousness. It's the difference between two telephone lines where the message goes down the copper cable, and the only person that can get the other message is the recipient on the other end, and somebody broadcasting on a radio set, and then anybody who's got the radio set, providing it's got the power to push it across the world, can pick it up. And that's the difference. So consciousness is everywhere, but how many of us can connect to it and have a two-way communication? So brilliant question. Thank you.